Hello everyone, welcome to Advanced Knowledge Systems and a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy, which is one of the premier institutions in India, and it offers examination coaching for UPSC CSC, State Public Service Commission, SSC Combined Graduate Level Exam, and CLAT examination. And about me, I'm Sandeep Bhushan Thumala, and my credentials are I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I take up international relations and internal security and the analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this session is in regards to the DNA of the Hindu newspaper of today's, that is of 1st February 2021. And before we get into the DNA, I would focus the keywords and the key phrases throughout my session of the DNA of the Hindu newspaper, and we will identify the factual, analytical, and conceptual questions which will be useful for the UPSC prelims and mains perspective. And also, while you imbibe the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing, wherein your answer writing for the mains examination would be precise and concise, and you will score certainly higher marks in the mains examination. So this session at AKS IAS Academy will help you to crack both prelims and mains of 2021. And before we get into the DNA of the newspaper, we would focus at the quote of the day. And the quote of the day says that set your goals high and don't stop till you get there. So what is very important is your consistency of your program of setting a goal and then reaching it is very, very important. And now we'll get into the DNA of the newspaper, and the news which talks about is the census 2022. So we would be talking or discussing about the census which is supposed to be about the year 2022, but the center is likely to postpone it because as India is definitely in the preoccupation of COVID-19 pandemic situation. So on the account of country's preoccupation of COVID-19 pandemic situation, the union government is on a track to push 2021 census to 2022, so that it's very clear the postponement which is from 2021 to 2022 is because of the preoccupation of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. And for the center, in regards to the COVID-19 pandemic situation, first the center has to deal with the measures of or in regards to the pandemic, and next is in regards to the vaccination program under which the entire country is being administered. So there are various preoccupation of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. First is to take up the measures in regards to the COVID-19 pandemic situation, and then now what the country is facing is experiencing about the massive vaccination program. And the census exercise of 2021 was supposed to be conducted in two phases, and the first phase is in regards to the house listing and house census from April to September 2020. Here the keyword is house listing and house census. And the second phase about the census 2021 was population enumeration from February 9th to February 28th, 2021. So the keywords here what we have focused as part of the DNA is house listing, housing census, and population enumeration. So the entire census process of 2021 was to be conducted in two phases as we discussed, that is house listing and house census and population enumeration. And in the first phase of the census, it was in regards to the updating the National Population Register, that is NPR, which were initially to be rolled out in few states from April 1st, 2021. But because of the COVID-19 pandemic situation, the first phase of the census and the updating of the National Population Register was postponed, and the Office of the Registrar General of India has said that the schedule and the questionnaire of the National Population Register was being finalized, but the expected date and the information in regards to the first phase of the census of the 2021 which was supposed to be taken up is not available, is as per the Office of the Registrar General of India. So the another keyword is Registrar General of India. We were talking about how The schedule and the questionnaires have been finalized, but the information about the expected date of the first phase of the census of 2021 is not available. And this entire national population register has come to the limelight because we have seen that it has become controversial after the Parliament of India has approved the CAA in the year December 2019, that is Citizenship Amendment Act. And this Citizenship Amendment Act, which was approved by the Parliament in December 2019, has given the citizenship, or it has sought to give the citizenship to the persecuted minorities who have come from Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Pakistan and entered into India on or before December 31st, 2014. So this is the keyword. What we would be focusing for the prelims as well as mains perspective is Citizenship Amendment Act, which was approved by the Parliament in December 2019, and this act sought to give citizenship to the persecuted minorities who were in Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Pakistan but entered into India on or before the date is December 31st, 2014. So this information is in regards to the, you can definitely take in regards to the census, Indian census, and also in regards to the Citizenship Amendment Act, and also in regards to the internal relationship, wherein we can talk about the internal security also, which is about national population register, wherein we are trying to make sure that by the Citizenship Amendment Act, trying to again stop the illegal migrants from Bangladesh and various countries also, especially from Bangladesh. So there are various keywords which would be pertaining to the census and also in regards to the internal security, which focuses further into the CAA, NPR in regards to the illegal migrants, and to give citizenship or to provide citizenship to the persecuted minorities from Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Pakistan who have entered into India on or before 31st December 2014. And there is another news which talks about a bullet through an island's heart. So we will look at which island is the news talking about. Certainly it is in regards to the Little Andaman Island of the Andaman Nicobar Islands. And there is a document that is called as the vision document, which has been proposed by the Niti Aayog, and this vision document is called as Sustainable Development of Little Andaman Island Vision Document. So this is a key phrase which the Niti Aayog proposal to come up with a document, that is Sustainable Development of Little Andaman Island Vision Document, and this would come up with, or this document is in regards to the leveraging the strategic location and natural features of Little Andaman Island. So here the keywords is the vision document focuses on the strategic location and natural features of Little Andaman Island, which wherein it is a vision document of Niti Aayog's, and the vision of the Niti Aayog is to make sure that they would be building up a new greenfield coastal city, which is a trade or free trade zone, and this Little Andaman, which would be a new greenfield coastal city, would compete with Singapore and Hong Kong. So this is the one which the vision document is focusing in regards to building a new greenfield coastal city and a free trade zone, which wherein Little Andaman Island, which would compete with Singapore and Hong Kong. And this vision document or the plan for the sustainable and holistic development of 680 square kilometers, that is of Little Andaman Islands in the entire Andaman Nicobar group islands, have raised the alarm among the conservationists. So definitely the sustainable development of Little Andaman vision document by the Niti Aayog, which has come up in regards to the leveraging the strategic location and natural features of the island, which would compete with Singapore and Hong Kong, has certainly raised the alarm among conservationists. So there are challenges to the vision document proposed by the Niti Aayog proposal to the Little Andaman Island, which would compete to or with Singapore and Hong Kong. Now we will look at what are the issues raised or alarmed by the conservationists, which would be a challenge to the development or which would act as a block to the development of the sustainable development of Little Andaman Island vision documents. And before that, we will focus in regards to what is the development which would be taking up in the Little Andaman, that is this area or the island of the entire Andaman Nicobar Islands, and Little Andaman is part of the Andaman Islands. You have in the entire Andaman Nicobar Islands, you have Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and you have the Nicobar Islands, you have Car Nicobar, and then you have the Greater Nicobar and Little Nicobar. So when we focus in regards to the Andaman Islands, you have North Andaman, Middle Andaman and Lower Andaman, and you have the Port Blair, which is part of the Lower Andaman Islands, and the Little Andamans is further south of the Lower Andamans, and you have the 10-degree channel which is in between Little Andaman and Car Nicobar Islands. So this we are focused again in regards to the geography map based, not only in regards to the environmentalist or in regards to the vision document, that is sustainable development of Little Andaman Islands, which would compete with Singapore and Hong Kong. But from geography map based, we have also focused where is Little Andaman and 10-degree channel, which is between Little Andaman and Car Nicobar. And further into the Nicobar Islands, you have the Car Nicobar, Little Andaman and then Great Nicobar Islands. And now we'll look at the development proposal by the Niti Aayog, wherein this proposal of developing the Little Andaman would be in regards to the 3 zones, and zone 1 which is spread across 100 square kilometers in the Little Andaman, which is part of the east coast of Little Andaman, east coast, this part, east coast of Little Andaman. And this east coast of Little Andaman, zone 1, development would be in regards to the financial district development as per what you have the Medicity, an Aerocity, tourism spot and a hospital district in the zone 1, which is spread over 102 square kilometers along the east coast of Little Andaman. And there would be the second zone which would be spread over 85 kilometers in the pristine forest, and that will have a film city, and the zone 2 will have a residential district and the tourism special economic zone. And the zone 3, which would be of the smaller part, that is of 52 square kilometers of pristine forest of Little Andaman, will be a nature zone. And this nature zone will again be categorized into the 3 districts, and the one will be exclusive forest resort, and the second one is a nature healing district, and the third one is nature retreat, and these will be on the western coast of the Little Andaman. So these are the zones which have been proposed in regards to the development or the sustainable development of the Little Andaman Islands by the Niti Aayog. So this could be a probable question in regards to the prelims perspective, that which among the following is not part of zone 1 or zone 2 or zone 3 of the sustainable development of Little Andaman Islands taken up, or vision document taken up or proposed by the Niti Aayog. So you need to understand what or which zone has which type of development in the Little Andaman Islands. And further, you have, along with the 3 zones of the development, you have an international airport in the Little Andaman Islands, which would have the capacity of handling all types of aircraft. And this having the international airport is the central to the entire development vision of the Niti Aayog. And you will also have a greenfield ring road of 100 kilometers, which this greenfield ring road would be constructed parallel to the coastline from east to west. So look at it. This greenfield ring road would be parallel to the coastline from east to west, and this greenfield ring road would be supplemented with a massive rapid transit networks, that is MRTN, mass rapid transit network, with stations at regular intervals. So there is certainly a kind of infrastructure development which is planned by the Niti Aayog, which is part of the sustainable development of the vision document. And the vision plan is which the Niti Aayog has its own plan, but it is not in the public domain. It is not in the public domain, and this vision plan is in comparison with Singapore. And when we look at the population density of Andaman Nicobar Island is 47 per square kilometers, but when we compare it with Singapore, it is 7,615 persons per square kilometers, that is the density of population, comparing it with Andaman Nicobar Islands with Singapore. And when we compare the per capita income of Andaman Nicobar Islands is 1,789 US dollars, but when we compare the per capita income of Singapore is 55,182 US dollars. So this is the differentiation when we are actually, or Niti Aayog is comparison, or it wanted to compete with Singapore and Hong Kong, the density and per capita income. This information is again crucial for prelims perspective. And you have various challenges to the development. Now, as we have seen the sustainable development vision document by the Niti Aayog, but still there are concerns by the conservationist, and because of the concerns raised by the conservationist, now we will look at what are the challenges to the development, because this could be a probable answer for your mains examination, because we are focused at the zones, and now we will look at the challenges to the development, that is sustainable development of Little Andaman Islands in the Andaman Nicobar Islands. And what are the challenges is lack of good connectivity with Indian mainland and global cities. And the Little Andaman Islands is of a fragile biodiversity and a natural ecosystem, because of we have lack of good connectivity, as the island is of biodiversity, fragile one, and it is a natural ecosystem, and you also have Supreme Court notification wherein it poses a kind of impediment to the development vision. So first challenge is in regards to lack of good connectivity, as it is a fragile biodiversity, natural ecosystem, and various Supreme Court's notification. And you have the presence of indigenous tribes, and the concerns are in regards to the welfare of the indigenous tribes is also a challenge to the development vision. And the 640 square kilometers island is reserve forest, and this reserve forest is under the Indian Forest Act, and nearly close to 450 square kilometers is protected as Onch Tribal Reserve. So the other challenge to the development apart from what we discussed is in regards to the reserve forest, wherein it is under Indian Forest Act, and out of the 640 square kilometers island which is reserve forest, 450 square kilometers protected as an Onch Tribal Reserve, which is one of the tribal tribes in Andaman Nicobar Islands. And these vision documents do not have or any mention about geological vulnerability of the place, because we have seen what the island has experienced on December 26, 2004, how the biodiversity, natural ecosystem, and human beings' lives and property has been destroyed because of December 26, 2005 tsunami. And the vision document do not mention about the geological vulnerability is also a challenge to the document or vision document. And the plan, the vision development plan do not have any financial details, and it does not have any budgeting, and it also does not have any ecological wealth, and there are no details of whether there is any environmental impact assessment. So this is the keyword here. So we need to also understand whether there is an impact of environment because of the Niti Aayog's proposal of vision document, that is in regards to the sustainable development of Little Andaman Islands. So these are the challenges to the development. So you can certainly take this as part of your short notes for the mains examination in regards to the challenges to the development or sustainable development of Little Andaman Islands. And now we will focus at what can be the way forward to the vision document which is proposed by the Niti Aayog. Yes, the vision or the way forward to the vision document is, which is described by the conservationist, that it is the first bullet through the heart of the island. And now this vision document, which is the first bullet, should be followed by the second one. That means the concerns raised by the conservationist or the environmentalist should be taken into consideration by the central government or the Niti Aayog's proposal of vision document, and there should be some kind of amendments being done to the vision document, because as said by the conservationists that this vision document is the first bullet through the heart of the island, which would certainly mean that it is impacting or it would impact negatively on the fragile biosystem, ecosystem also. And a meeting is to be held by the chairman of the chief secretary on February 4th to initiate that the denotification of the Onge Tribal Reserve on Andaman or Little Andaman. So we were talking about 450 square kilometers is reserved for Onge Reserve Forest for the tribals. So now there is an meeting to be held to initiate the denotification. Please do understand, denotification of the Onge Tribal Reserves, which would again create a kind of concerns to the conservationist, but a clearing path to the vision document, that is sustainable development of Little Andaman. So the focus here is what we would be looking at all the keywords, and what is very crucial is that we would be focusing that the sustainable development of the Little Andaman is for the it is as per the strategic location and natural features of the island, which would be supporting the island in regards to competing Singapore and Hong Kong by various zones or 3 zones, zone 1, zone 2 and zone 3. So I hope this information or this topic, which is very crucial for prelims as well as mains examination, so I have analyzed it in regards to the challenges and also the way forward. Now we will focus at the another news which talks about Modi has praised in his first edition of radio program of the year 2021, that is Mann Ki Baat, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has hailed the commitment of and differently abled man from Kottayam, from Kerala, that is N.S. Rajappan. Now we will look at why the Prime Minister of India has hailed the commitment of N.S. Rajappan, because the 69-year-old who has been paralyzed below his knees, he has been hailed because he has been involved in the commitment of cleaning up of Vembanad Lake. So this is the keyword, lake is the keyword, Vembanad Lake, and he has earned recognition from the highest office of the country, that is from the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his first radio program or first month's edition of 2021 Mann Ki Baat. And for several years, N.S. Rajappan has been living by collecting plastic bottles on the lake and the streams which are linked to the Vembanad lake. And he has been afflicted with polio at the age of 5. And again, from geography map base, we will also focus this information, that is, which is the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has hailed the Rajappan in regards to the commitment of cleaning the lakes. And part of the geography is we also focus at the top largest lakes in India, wherein when we are talking about the Vembanad lake. So this could be a probable question for the prelims examination in regards to the geography and also geography map base. So the one which is the longest is the Vembanad lake in Kerala. Second is Chilka lake in Odisha. Third is Shivaji Sagar lake in Maharashtra. And the fourth is Indra Sagar lake in Madhya Pradesh. Fifth is Pyongyang lake in Ladakh, which we have been hearing about the Pangong Tso lake in the Ladakh, which is in eastern Ladakh, which is certainly a conflict zone between India and China along the LAC. And then the sixth one is Pulicat lake in Andhra Pradesh. Third is Sardar Sarovar lake, which is part of which is certainly part of Gujarat, Rajasthan, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. And the eighth is Nagarjuna Sagar lake in Telangana. And ninth is Loktak lake in Manipur. And the 10th is Wullur lake in Jammu and Kashmir. So these are the top 10 largest lakes in India, which have provided additional for the civil servant aspirants benefit because of UPSC perspective for prelims. And from geography map based also we will focus this. So Vembanad is, or it is through 3 districts of Kerala. So Vembanad lake, this one you can see, which is, yes, so it's such a big one, which is certainly the largest lake in India, Vembanad lake. So this certainly from geography also we have taken into consideration, so that it will be useful for you not only in regards to the Mann Ki Baat of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but in regards to the cleaning of lake. And the lake which was emphasized was Vembanad lake. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi once again in his first Mann Ki Baat has also mentioned about garbage to power plant. So the keyword here is garbage to power plant, which is again crucial for preliminary examination. And this garbage to power plant is commissioned, or it is in Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Agricultural Market in Telangana. So it is in the agricultural market named by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and the mention is by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his first Mann Ki Baat of 2021. He is also emphasizing on the concept or the plant, that is garbage to power. So this is the keyword, garbage to power plant. And here in this garbage to power plant, vegetables and fruit or waste vegetable and fruits are used to generate power. So here for prelims perspective, how the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Agriculture Market, which is in Telangana, is using the waste vegetables and fruit to generate power. And this is generating a power up to an extent of 500 units a day and 30 kilos of green manure at the plant. So what is the benefit through the garbage to power plant? It is generating 500 units per day and also 30 kilos of green manure. So these are the benefits by the garbage to power plant at Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Agriculture Market, which is crucial for UPSC perspective prelims because it is garbage to power plant. And this is being done by using 10 tons of leftover market waste in the agricultural market, and then the power which is used, that is 500 units, is being used to light up the market, entire market, and it is also used to run the canteen in the agricultural market. And certainly the market committee is substantially saving a lot in the power bills, and that is being appreciated by the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, in his first edition of 2021 Mann Ki Baat, and he said that the power of innovation and it is the power of or journey of turning garbage into gold. So these are the two keywords which have been focused or used by Prime Minister in regards to the power plant, that is garbage to power plant, which is commissioned in the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Agriculture Market in Telangana state. And here when we look at, yes, certainly the keywords is the power of innovation and the journey of turning garbage into gold. And this plant, garbage to power plant, is been designed and patented by CSIR, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology in Telangana, and this is the high rate biomethanation technology, and this is based on anaerobic gas lift reactor. And these keywords are again crucial for prelims UPSC perspective, that it is a high rate biomethanation technology which is based on anaerobic gas lift reactor, and this project is of rupees 3 crore and which is funded by the Department of Biotechnology, and along with it is being shared by the Telangana Government Agricultural Marketing Department. So this reactor is anaerobic gas lift reactor and the technology is high rate methanation technology, and it is designed and patented by CSIR, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology of Telangana, and funded the 3 crore project by Department of Biotechnology and Telangana Government Agriculture Marketing Department. So this is again crucial information for prelims in regards to the new technology or the journey of turning garbage into gold, or the another keyword which is crucial is garbage to power plant. And in his first radio broadcast or edition of Mann Ki Baat in 2021, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also focused that the Union government or the government of India is committed to modernizing agriculture. So here the keyword is modernizing agriculture, which is used by the Prime Minister, and we will be focusing on or analyzing about the keyword modernizing agriculture. And while he was talking about modernizing agriculture, how the central government is committed, he has also focused in the Mann Ki Baat talking about that the country has fought against COVID-19 pandemic situation, and then the Made in India vaccine which was administered in India is certainly country's self-reliant and country's self-pride. That is, countries we can talk about Atmanirbhar and Atmagaurav. So here the two keywords are Atmanirbhar and Atmagaurav, which the Prime Minister has emphasized in regards to the Made in India vaccine, which the country is fighting against COVID-19. And this Made in India vaccine have generated worldwide appreciation as per the Prime Minister Mr. Modi's Mann Ki Baat. And he has said that the worldwide appreciation is also displaying that India's capabilities and self-reliance in the field of medicine. So the keyword is self-reliance and capabilities in the field of medicines, which India has, and thereby India has come up with the Made in India vaccine, which is talking a great about self-reliance, that is Atmanirbhar, and self-pride, that is Atmagaurav of India. And the Prime Minister in his Mann Ki Baat has also focused about the Tarapur Martyrs Day. So this is crucial again from history perspective, because it has been mentioned by Prime Minister in the Mann Ki Baat. So he has mentioned about Tarapur Martyrs Day, that is wherein Britishers have mercilessly killed several group of brave young patriots on February 15, 1932. So this has been mentioned because Prime Minister Narendra Modi says that the central government or the government of India is committed to modernizing agriculture. So focusing on that, he is also mentioning about how Britishers have mercilessly killed the brave young patriots on February 15, 1932, and he has mentioned the Tarapur Martyrs Day. So this could be again probable prelims questions from UPSC perspective. And Mr. Modi has also said in his monthly broadcast of Mann Ki Baat that how various people are providing an opportunity to learn new things, and he has mentioned about the vegetable market in Boinpalli, which generates electricity from vegetable waste, which is in Hyderabad or Telangana. And he has also focused on the usage or using the wastewater for irrigation by a Gram Panchayat in Haryana, and the forming, or else they have formed a eco-friendly paper that is making Monshugu in Tawang district of Arunachal Pradesh. And in Bundelkhand, a woman entrepreneurs in regards to growing strawberries, and women in Jabalpur have successfully run a rice mill. And all women crew of Air India is now commanding the longest flight from San Francisco to Bengaluru. So all this highlight which have been mentioned by our Prime Minister in the Mann Ki Baat monthly broadcast, which is the first edition of 2021, could be a probable question for the prelims perspective. So all this we have focused in the DNA or analyzed it, how it could be part of the irrigation or electricity, and then eco-friendly, that is in ecology and environment, and then entrepreneurship, that is in regards to the business or economy, and then this is in regards to the women, that is how women empowerment, wherein all women crew of Air India now they are commanding the longest flight from San Francisco to Bengaluru. So all these are crucial for prelims perspective of UPSC. And the another news which talks about is GST mop up, that is increase in goods and services tax revenues. And this goods and services tax revenue has hit a record high in January 2021, and now the entire collection of the revenue of GST is 1.2 lakh crore, and this collection is 8% higher than a year ago, that is comparing it with the year 2020. And this number, that is 1.2 lakh crore GST revenue, is certainly the highest indirect tax revenue since GST regime was launched in July 2017. So GST was launched in the year 2017, that is in the month of July 2017, and since then till now, that is the GST revenue collection on January 2021 is the highest with 1.2 lakh crore, with 8% higher than the year 2020. And the GST revenue has remained above rupees 1 lakh crore because collecting 1 lakh crore per month is the target by the GST or the goods and services tax, which is an indirect tax revenue, and this is high or remained above 1 lakh crore for the last 4 months. And this increase is a clear indicator that there is a rapid economic recovery post pandemic, and we will look at what are the contribution to the steady increase in indirect tax revenue, which has remained above 1 lakh crore for the last 4 months. And what have been the contribution is that the first one is the closer monitoring against the fake billing has provided the GST revenue above 1 lakh crore. And the second one, the contributing factor is deep data analytics, which has used data from multiple sources, that is from GST, income tax and custom IT systems, that has contributed to the highest revenue above 1 lakh crore. And the third one is effective tax administration. So these are the three factors which have contributed to the steady increase in indirect tax revenue for the last 4 months, which is above 1 lakh crore. And January 2021 GST revenue has hit a record high of 8% higher than year 2020, and it is the highest indirect tax revenue since July 2017, which the GST regime has been launched. So this is crucial from economy perspective, that is in regards to the GST, goods and services tax, which is the indirect tax. One nation, one tax, which was launched in July 2017. And now we will focus at the recapitulation of the DNA. So we have looked at the census, how the center is certainly in a path to postpone the census of 2021 to 2022. So we have focused this in regards to the internal security, also in regards to the National Population Register and then Citizenship Amendment Act. And this is in regards to the ecology and environment we have focused, and also in regards to the infrastructure development and how the Little Andaman Islands is strategically and naturally very important as an infrastructure development for India. And this is in regards to the three, in regards to the Mann Ki Baat, which the Prime Minister has praised in regards to the lake, cleaning of the lake. We have looked at the Vembanad Lake, which is in Kerala. This is again in regards to the geography. Also we have focused along with the current affairs, and this is in regards to the again garbage to power plant, which is very important, that the technology which is used, that is methanation of the technology which is used is anaerobic gas lift technology. And this is in regards to the modernizing farming, which is in regards to the agriculture. So the Mann Ki Baat we have focused in regards to geography, technology, and also in regards to the agriculture. And this is in regards to the economy, that is the GST revenue, which has been hiked or high since the launch of GST regime, that is in July 2017. So I hope this session was an informative, knowledgeable, and also we are focused in regards to the sustainable development of Little Andaman Islands, which is certainly for both prelims and mains perspective, that we have focused the entire DNA in regards to the macro and micro level. So I hope it was informative, knowledgeable, and I would say a thank you to all, good luck to you all, and then do maintain consistency, stick to your schedule, and then take care of your physical health and mental health. And do not forget to like the video, share the video, and do subscribe to the English Medium AKS YouTube channel, and also have access to the website and to the Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge System. And I would come up with the DNA, that is daily news analysis, tomorrow. And then till then, thank you, goodbye, and then take care.